Mark Schlereth, Fox Sports NFL analyst, 3 Super Bowl champion rings. By the way, you did the Packers this week. I said this yesterday on the show. It's not been a great season, but there's one really shining moment here. It looks like Christian Watson is a number one. He looks legit to me, Mark. What was your takeaway on him?
Yeah, I think he is, Colin. And, they rave about his intelligence. He can play all 3 positions. He can play the X, he can play the Z, he can play the F. Super smart kid. And, he got confidence. That over-the-shoulder catch against the Dallas Cowboys. Remember, he dropped 2 previously to that play in Dallas. He catches that one over the shoulder, very much like the first play of the season against Minnesota. He dropped it and kind of went into a funk. Well, that was the catch that kind of has catapulted him to this direction where he's just been phenomenal. I think Aaron is growing in trust with him.
Yeah.
He's growing in confidence on a week-to-week basis. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think there's still some nuanced stuff that he's got to learn, obviously, with all young players, but he's a dynamic athlete, and he is growing. He's got some swagger to him right now. He's really playing well.
Yeah, Packers outscored the Bears 18-0 fourth quarter, so very good news for them. They have found a star at wide receiver, and that is a good thing. So we've gone back and forth. Brock Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. It's how a Southern gentleman would say, if you asked him, oh, is she beautiful? He'd say she's pretty. That's what it sounds like. Brock Purdy. We like him. Here's what I like about him. He started for 4 years in college, like a Kenny Pickett. So he's a grown-up. He's taken a lot of snaps. He's been in a lot of big college games. I would stick with him because I believe, his dad. Kyle Shanahan's DNA is don't get squirrely on me. Be disciplined. Stay in the pocket. Distribute the football to the play I've diagrammed. Don't get too cute. I think that's what the kid does. I think Baker Mayfield does the opposite of that, where he can be squirrely and undisciplined. Would you roll with Purdy?
Absolutely. I think the way the 49ers are built, number one, they have an exceptional defense. Their defensive front seven is as good as it gets in this league. So they're going to make plays. They're going to eliminate scores. That's what they do. And then, offensively, it's really about run the football, set up our play action passing game, create big plays through catch and run, broken tackles, yards after catch, all that stuff. I think a couple of things that really impressed me with Purdy is that, one, I thought his foot energy was great. I thought the timing of him in the pocket, getting the ball out on time accurately was great. He read protections. He defeated the blitz. He threw it to the right guy. I think he also manipulated people in the secondary with his eyes. I mean, this is a kid that looks like a professional football player.
That's right.
And that's all you can. That's all you can ask. I mean, in San Francisco, I think the thought process with the way they structure their offense and the way they structure their football team is we're not asking you to win football games at the quarterback position. We're just asking you not to lose football games.
Right.
At the quarter. The team is going to win the football game. Remember, Jimmy Garoppolo won an NFC playoff game throwing it 8 times. So that's how they're constructed. That's how they're built. And I think Brock Purdy is the correct answer there. Now, I'd still take a flyer on Baker. I know he's got great football acumen. Not to start for me, but just as an insurance policy, and then groom him and teach him the offense and let him come along. But I just think you don't deviate off of Brock Purdy. He's your third quarterback that you've played so far this season, so he's your third stringer. But I still think he gives you a chance to finish out the season, be in a playoff contention, and then we'll see what happens when the playoffs come around.
I said early to start the show today, Brady isn't tired of football. He's tired of Tampa. That I never thought it was a perfect fit. I covered it for a couple of years. Ybor City, it's a port town. There's a lot of action. It's a party town. He's Mr. Disciplined. It's always been a squirrely franchise. A lot of coaches, a lot of movement, a lot of talent. And they've been occasionally great, but mostly underachieved. And it's not your classic NFL franchise with a discipline this and a discipline that. And that's who Tom is. So they were attractive to Tom. They had weapons. He'd have power. He'd have a say. He'd have control. But I think eventually they were never perfect for each other. And I watched his body language the last couple of weeks, and I watched him last night. Mark, he's over it. Like he's he's angrier, and maybe some of it's the family situation. But I don't think he's done playing. I just think he's done with Tampa. That's what my eyes told me last night. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, you can't play 5 minutes of football every weekend, and even though they're coming away with wins, that's not gonna work. I was mentioning today on my radio show, Colin, it was like watching Tebow in Denver. 55 minutes of absolute dreck, and then 5 minutes of brilliance, right? You can't pat yourself on the back for putting out a fire that you started, right? I mean, it's a mess. I will say this, there's no way you could have predicted that Ryan Jensen would get hurt, that Ali Marpet would retire inside, that Alex Kappa would go to Cincinnati. Like, Tom Brady is a guy that he can deal with outside pressure because he's so good at manipulating the pocket, so good at climbing it, moving around, and delivering the football on time. With people in his lap, that's not fun for him. That's not the way he plays football. So I am with you. I see him, and I know that this year's been, obviously, it's been tough, and I feel for him. Divorce is difficult, and family situations are very hard, and he's human, and I know that has to weigh heavy on your mind. But I've always said this about Tom. He loves this game. He loves the grind of this game. He loves the professionalism. But there's only one place that Tom Brady can be a dude, and that's in the locker room. The rest of the time, whenever he leaves that facility, man, he is Tom Brady, a celebrity. The one place he can be a guy is in the locker room, and he loves to compete. He loves that aspect of football. The guys gravitate to him. I'm with you. I don't think he retires. I don't think he necessarily plays in Tampa next year, but I don't think he's walking away from football yet.
All right, Mark Schlereth, first things first today. Great seeing you as always. Appreciate it, Mark. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.